Hi there and welcome to the Black Power Station's Book Corner. It's a library, a space that functions as a portal for collective reading, listening and storytelling. I'm your host, Kholiso Appel. I aspire to inspire you to exchange book reviews with me in a manner that is informative, transformative and relational to our day-to-day lifestyles. So today I've chosen Black Looks, which is Race and Representation by Bell Hooks. It's David Edmonds who donated this book. So we encourage everyone to tell us why they think their books are worth reading and how they've had an impact in their outlook. So in Bell Hooks' introduction, she speaks of cultural identity. She says that it's a matter of becoming as well as being. It belongs to the future as much as to the past. It's not something which already exists, transcending place, time, history, and culture. Cultural identities come from somewhere, have histories, but like everything which is historical, they undergo constant transformation. And far from being eternally fixed in some essentialized past, they are subject to continuous play of history, culture, and power. Far from being grounded in a mere recovery of the past, which is waiting to be found, and which when found will secure our sense of ourselves into eternity. Identities are names, the names we give to the different ways we are positioned by and position ourselves within the narratives of the past. So I'm going to give you an overview of what the book is about by reading at the back. And I'm going to read just aspects of what is written here on what the book is about. So it says that it's the critical essays in this collection are gestures of defiance. They represent my political struggle to push against the boundaries of the image, to find words that express what I see, especially when I'm looking in ways that move against the grain, when I'm seeing things that most folks want to simply believe are not there. Fierce critical interrogation is sometimes the only practice that can pierce the wall of denial consumers of images, the images of construct, so as to not face the fact that politics of domination inform the way the vast majority of images we consume are constructed and marketed. So this section is also from the introduction. So what I also want to do, I want to read reviews from people that have actually read Bell Hooks, and we're going to see what they think of the book and how the book has impacted them. So Bart rated it 5 out of 5 and recommends it for feminists and feminist minds. So Bart says that Bell Hooks' most academic work, which is The Black Looks, is also my favorite, although not necessarily because it is academic. In my favorite essay, Eating the Other, Desire and Resistance, Hooks writes, within commodity culture, ethnicity becomes spice, seasoning that can liven up the dal dish that is mainstream white culture. The essay continues with more assertions such as these, which I think easily extend to white members of radical communities. Also extremely informative, revolutionary renegades, Native Americans, African Americans, and Black Indians detail some past accounts of solidarity and opposition among people to this continent and African Americans, including harmonious pre-Columbus meetings. I'm going to read one more review, which is from CW The Quiet Pond. This review says, I owe Bell Hooks. I have owed bell hooks ever since my encounter with her writing in my final year in university, wherein we analyze the importance of intersectionality and the potential problems of white feminism, and how it has a tendency to be a form of cultural imperialism with the guise of equality. In other words, I have loved bell hooks ever since her words empowered me as a POC feminist. So, Race and Representation by Bell Hooks contains 12 essays that centralize its focus and analysis on blackness and representation of blackness in the media. As an intersectional feminist, I think it is necessary to listen, understand, and broaden one's awareness of a range of issues that affect different people of color so that we can be good allies. And though this book is predominantly about blackness, the sentiment and black looks is accessible, educational, and still relevant today, even though it was written in 1992. Something that particularly stood out for me was Hooks' observation that solidarity is often formed through shared pain, that we can help develop connections with others through our experiences of pain, namely self-hatred, prejudice, and issues of identity. However, Hooks argues that it is equally important, or more important, that we, as people of color, should also construct language that is positive and about loving and affirming what makes us different in the realm of white supremacy. So from these reviews, you can imagine how strong these 12 essays within this book are. And I must say that even in South Africa, though this book was written for Americans, it's still very much relevant to South Africans as well. Because I also find myself not really relating to what the social media, has made me think what a black woman, black South African woman should look like. I'm not necessarily a feminist, but I know that I too don't really necessarily relate to what the social media has ascribed me to be. So I encourage anyone who has this book, who know of this book, to exchange their opinions and their reviews on how they have found Black Looks and how Black Looks has impacted or changed any narrative that they previously had before reading this book. From us at the Black Power Station, from the book corner session, I think I'm going to leave it here. It's our first reading about Black Looks, Race and Representation, and I'm sure it's not our last reading, because the next time I feature this book, I'll be featuring this book, exchanging reviews with a guest or two.